What's up, my dudes? Monster Fairy Tales deep diving into Path of Exile 2. There is a patch 0.2.0f. Let's see what they've been working on, okay? So, recently announced some improvements to Path of Exile 2 Dawn of the Hunt. Many of these improvements, including Ascendancy respecking, will be coming in patch 0.2.0f, which we are planning to release later today. It's actually already released. The following patch notes are still subject to change prior to the patch deployment. This patch may take roughly 15 minutes to become available to download on PlayStation after it has been deployed. Well, this patch is already live, my dudes. Let's give it a look. Alright, this patch adds support for respecking Ascendancy classes, Atlas bookmarks, new stash tab affinities, changes to charms and totems, as well as many other improvements and bug fixes. Okay. Respecking Ascendancy classes. Redoing an Ascendancy trial now allows you to respec which Ascendancy class you have chosen at the Ascension device, but only if the trial would grant you the number of points you already have. Okay. In order to respec your Ascendancy class, you must have 0 points allocated in it, but you can now talk to Balbala or the Trial Master to refund passive points. Alright, my dudes, that's cool. So this is a feature a lot of people have been asking for, to be honest, and now it's finally here. Alright. Trials of Chaos that have 7 chambers and thus grant up to 4 Ascendancy passive skill points now can be attempted from level 55 down from level 60. Okay, so they have tweaked the level requirements that you need to have to do these trials. Okay? And the Trial of Chaos have 10 chambers and thus grants up to 6 Ascendancy passive skill points can now be attempted from level 65, down from 75. Okay, interesting. Charm changes. Belts level 30 and above now have implicit modifiers with 1 up till 2 charm slots, while belts level 60 and above now have implicit modifiers with 1, 2, 3 charm slots. This only affects new belts found after this patch has been deployed. Alright. The explicit modifiers for additional charm slots on belts can no longer roll. Okay, so they've changed it. So now you can actually roll, hopefully more frequent, like 3 charm slots. The Surface, Genesis, and Ingenuity unique belts no longer have additional charm slots modifiers, though existing versions of these items are not affected. Okay. Bijou Born has intentionally kept these additional charm slots for now, as in the future we will be expanding the maximum possible charm slots to 6. Hold up. What? You can potentially have 6 charm slots in the future? Bro, that's a big one. Massively increase the values of the prefixes that restores life, mana, or grant guard when charms are used. You can update existing items to the new values with a Divine Orb. Okay, alright. All charms but the golden charm have had their maximum charges halved and their charges per use halved, making them refill more quickly. Well, that's nice. That's a good one. The base duration of stone charm has also been increased from 2.5 seconds to 3 seconds. Okay. So that's the changes to charms. I mean, there are some drastic changes being made to the charms, to be honest, but I feel like it was really needed, actually. So that's a good change. New stash tab affinities. Well, we've been waiting for this one, haven't we? At least the people that actually has a bunch of stash tabs already in Path of Exile 1. So let's see what they changed here. They have added the stash tab affinities for the following categories: socketables, fragments, breach, expedition, and ritual. Socketables? Socketables? Like runes and stuff, I guess? But, so that's pretty much a new stash tab, right? We didn't have that stash tab in Path of Exile 1, did we? Okay, we're gonna have to check that one out. Atlas bookmarks. Added the ability to bookmark locations of your atlas to find them easily later. Right-clicking a node will allow you to create a bookmark by picking an icon and optionally adding a label you can type in. Okay. You can have up to 16 bookmarks at a time. They will appear as icons around the outside of the screen with a direction allowing you to scroll them easily, or you can click on them to instantly take you there. You can also view a list of bookmarks under the legend and click them to go there. Okay, nice. That's kind of interesting. That's a cool change, actually. So you can more easily navigate your atlas. Endgame changes. Pinnacle bosses now have unlimited respawn attempts at difficulty 0. Well, someone is going to be spending hours trying to do a pinnacle boss. Tower and hideout maps now have a higher minimum number of rare monsters that can spawn. The final rare monster defeated in the tower and hideout maps will now drop a map of the same tier if you are running, as long as you have enough waystone chance. Okay. Yeah, so it's going to drop the same tier of the map you're running. Okay. Defeating the final rare monster in the tower maps is still not required to complete a tower map. Okay. Added UI tracking for rare and unique monsters in unique maps, tower maps, and hideout maps. Okay. Not like the I mean, I guess the like the pinnacle boss respawn attempt is, you know, yeah, it's kind of nice. Okay. So let's have a look at the crafting changes. As each new rune tier is unlocked, we are removing the lower runes from the drop pool. Okay. This is to stop you getting spammed with lesser runes at high levels. Well, that's a good change. That's actually a good change. Lesser runes no longer drop past level 31. Okay. Medium runes no longer drop past level 52. Overall, past level 52, you will now drop more greater runes than currently, but lesser runes and runes will no longer drop. Okay. Hey, hello Alex. How are you doing today? Old man? You think I'm an old man? Well, hello there. Rogue exiles will always have appropriate tier runes socketed into dropped items relative to their item levels. Yeah, that's nice. So that means if you actually beat a... I mean, if you beat a Rogue Exile in like a level 70 zone or 70 monster zone, you know, it's not gonna drop you some low level runes, right? Scepters can now have sockets, and we added a new set of talisman modifiers for scepters to allow upgrades to your minions at mid to late game. What? Talisman modifiers for scepters? What? Yeah. So I like that this information is just kind of like casually dropped in there. So I wonder what the talisman modifiers for scepters is. Interesting. Okay, so over to the totem changes. All totem skills now start gaining elemental resistances and chaos resistance, scaling up with skill level from around gem level 13. At gem level 20, they have plus 75 to all elemental resistances and plus 35 to chaos res. Okay. Ironwood support now also grants totems summoned by supported skills plus 10% to all maximum elemental resistance. Okay. Well, I've not played a lot of totems, but I'm guessing this is a good change for totems. Light stun changes moderately reduce the capacity for monsters to light stun you, especially towards cruel and endgame, by lowering the amount of stun damage they deal and increasing the minimum they must deal to light stun you. Okay. Additionally, elemental, chaos, and ranged stun damage has been penalized even further, so you're less likely to get stunned by random stray projectiles and other things of the sort. These changes don't affect light stuns dealt by players. Interesting. That's actually interesting. We've added a cluster to the passive skill tree near Chaos Inoculation that allows you to invest into a heavy amount of stun and ailment threshold based on your energy shield. We will be adding more stun mitigation later around the tree, notably in the dexterous section. Okay. Alright. Over to the player changes. Shard Scavenger, in addition to its current effects, now also restores 1 cooldown use for all your grenades and grants a buff for 2 seconds that prevents your crossbow attacks consuming bolts. Shockwave Totem's base damage time is now 1.5 seconds, previously 3 seconds, so it's halved. Shockwave Totem Slam now deals 96 to 211% of attack damage at gem level 3 to 20. Previously 169 to 369. Okay. While Jagged Ground Eruption damage is unchanged. Quality now provides 0 to 0.20 seconds to totem base attack time. Previously 0 to 0.55 seconds. Okay. Frozen Locust can now be used while using other skills to interrupt what you're doing, similarly to dodge roll, though it does not allow you to dodge incoming hits. You will now shield bash if you release raise shield after blocking a hit. Hold on. You will now shield bash if you release raise shield after blocking a hit from a faraway attacker. If there is a different enemy in shield bash range. What? Hold up. What? So, let's say there is an enemy on like the edge of the screen that's shooting arrows at you. If you have your shields up and you block it, and you are in range of that enemy, you will actually automatically shield bash it. Is this what this means? I guess it is. That's really interesting. So it's like kind of like an automatic retaliation skill almost. Stormlands is now able to be supported by ground effect related supports. Okay. Raise Shield is now able to be supported by concentrated effect. Fire exposure, lightning exposure supports have had their wording adjusted to make clear their effects apply to any target, not just enemies. This is not a functional change, just a clarification of wording. Okay. Whirlwind lands and the whirlwind keyword. Hover now clarify that whirlwind's collapse deals melee damage. Okay. Improve the visual effects of arcs explosions on hitting a shocked target. Glacial lands is now able to chain off terrain. Okay. That's the player changes. Improvements and other changes. Added an equipped gems section to the gem cuttings interface to make leveling up cross-class skill gems more convenient. Okay. Added rarity borders to items available to purchase from vendors. Okay. Greater Rune of Tithing now provides 1 to 100 lightning thorns damage when socketed in armor, previously 1 to 10. Okay. Attribute runes now have a more appropriate gold value to vendors and can be reforged into their higher tiers. Okay. Breach hands can now drop splinters at all levels. This amount starts low and increases with area level, similar to splinter drops for monsters. Shrines are now easier to click on. Hallelujah. Yeah, shrines have been a little tricky, to be honest, to kind of like hit sometimes. Okay, we're off to the monster changes, my dudes. Some endgame monsters can no longer interrupt their attacks if you move too far out of range during the attack to relentlessly chase you. Zarok the Temporal no longer aggressively targets player minions if any are present. The Immured Fury is now less likely to target minions, and their ground effects should now more reliably be removed after death. As-like brutes, as-like maulers, as-like stalkers, and undead Valguards have had the frequency they use their skills, such as ground slams, reduced and the cooldowns increased. Yeah, so in the zone that you go to after the Viper boss, I can't remember the zone's name, but that zone feels like super dangerous because of this or because of these monsters. So I think this little nerf to them is a good one. Adjusted the behavior of the 180-degree cleave skill used by Geonor, the Putrid Wolf, to prevent them using the skills multiple times sequentially. Okay. The composition of monster packs in Jiquanis Sanctum, Agorath, and Utsal have been adjusted to reduce the amount of range skills being hurled at players in these areas. Same adjustment has been made for the version of affected packs that can appear in map areas. Yeah, I think that's a good change also. Adjusted the frequency and damage of the Ice Shard Spiral Volley from Shrines. Okay. Well, I hope I hope they buffed it. I mean, that frequency or that shrine is just insanely good. So I hope they didn't nerf it, to be honest. Adjusted the behavior of venomous crabs, venomous crab matriarchs, and constricted spitters. Okay? So what's the behavior? What's the change? Val Form Shifter now has less damage reduction when in shapeshift form. The Fettered Spider Cleansed monster now explodes on death less often. Adjusted the damage dealt by Goliath and Val Goliath monsters. Okay. Adjusted the damage of Stone Sentinel's Slam skill. Bro. So adjusted it, what does it mean? Does it mean more damage or less damage? Like, what does it mean? So it says like adjusted on a lot of them, but then we have like the reduced and the lowered, like reduced, lowered, added, adjusted. What does adjusted mean? Reduced the damage of Essence of the Infinite Monster modifier. Lowered the damage of Val Enforcer to be more appropriate for how many times it hits. Lowered the damage of Reconstructor's Lightning Burst skill. Slightly reduced the damage of Ravenous Mishappen's Arc skill. Okay. Well, there has been some adjustments. Like to really understand the difference, I guess we have to log in and try it. Okay, then we're up to the bug fixes. This is going to be the last list here of fixes in the patch 2.0.0f. Fixed a bug where players were gaining 1% of their evasion rating as armor at all times. This also fixes a bug where the iron This also fixes a bug where the Iron Reflexes, Keystone passive skill, and General's Binding's notable passive skill were not providing the correct amount of armor. Okay. Fixed the bug where Ripwire Ballista and Dark Effigy were not displaying totem-specific stats, such as Totem Life, in the skill panel. Fix the bug where the corruption modifiers to the levels of Bind Spectre or Tame Beast Gems could be lost upon binding or taming. What? Okay. Fix the bug where the enemies chilled by your hits increase damage taken by chill magnitude modifier on the Asphyxia's Wrath unique quiver was instead causing enemies to take reduced damage. What? That's a good fix. Fix the bug where the Black Doubt unique body armor would remove mana if you were on full life, with the Lich's Eternal Life Ascendancy passive skill allocated and were taking damage over time. Fix the bug where Disengage could fail to trigger a shockwave from parried enemies in its area of effect if those enemies were hit by other shockwaves from the same use of the skill. Fix the bug where the Drain Ailments was not granting immunity to the consumed ailment and was not triggering the other consumption effects like Shard Scavenger. Okay. Fix the bug where Drain Ailment support would only consume a single copy of the chosen ailment in case where the target had multiple copies applied to them. Fix the bug where Embitter support didn't apply to damage that was gained as extra damage of the same type as it originally was. Well, that was a good fix because that's kind of like how the Embitter works, right? Fix the bug where Firestorm was not triggering Shard Scavenger when consuming ignites. Fix the bug where Volcanic Fissures did not cause an aftershock when Shockwave's Totem Slam was used on it. Fix the bug where Staggering Palm was not working with Impact Shockwave support. Fix an issue where chaining and returning projectiles started positions could desync. Fix the bug where the last charge of the Smith of Kitava's Temper Weapon skill was able to cause multiple explosions when consumed by specific skills. Fix the bug where Glacial Lance's explosions did not scale with area damage. Fix the bug where Meditate could be interrupted by a non-damaging hit. Fix the bug where Gathering Storm was not considered a quarterstaff skill. Fix the bug where Refraction support was not working. Fix the bug where curses applied through map modifiers were not being reapplied if you died and respawned at checkpoint. Fix the bug where attribute runes could not be socketed in wands and staves. Fix the bug where unique charms could not be chanced. Oh my. What? So people have been trying to chance the unique charms and they've not been getting them. They've been spending a lot of currency not getting anything. Like there was a 0% chance. Fix the bug where the spirit of the bear as Mary's spirit was targetable and could be damaged. Don't hurt the bear. Fix the bug where the Azak Shaman monster would not use most of their skills when bound as a spectre. Fix the bug where the Smith's Masterwork Ascendancy notable passive skill had a refund cost. Fix the bug where modifiers provided by runes were not being displayed on wands and staves. Fix the bug that could prevent you from progressing the Power Awaits request if you respawned at checkpoint after the Arbiter of Ash died. Fix the bug where monsters spawned by the Ogham's Legacy unique strongbox were required to be slain in order to fulfill the Kill All Rares map objective. Fix the bug where this Savannah map boss arena wasn't being sealed off when the fight began. Fix the bug where the stairs to Fix the bug where the stairs to exit the Act 3 final boss arena wouldn't reappear after defeating the boss. This fix also applies to the map boss version. Fix the bug where storms created by Whirling Slash visually remained when the gem was leveling up. Was when the gem was leveled up. What? I mean, visually remained. Did it visually remain or did it keep dealing damage? Fix the bug where Lightning Wraith monsters were dealing less damage than intended. Fixed an issue where one of Rafik of the Frozen Springs attacks was dealing significantly more damage than intended. Fix a bug where Skeleton Spriggans would just push you instead of actually using their melee attack. Fix the bug where the Chimeral Wetlands could sometimes have a blocked path. Fix the bug where the map pin for Ignaduk, the Bug Witch, did not update properly on the world map after using the Gemcrust Skull in Cruel difficulty. Yeah. But I mean, there is other bugs to that boss as well, I think. Fix the bug where Ball Lightning could not be supported by chain support. Fixed a bug where Perpetual Charge was unable to support Whirlwind Lands. Fixed the bug where Channeling Meditate would show an unrelated buff icon. Fixed the bug where Jagged Ground used the incorrect debuff icon. And fixed 3 client crashes. And fixed 3 instance crashes. Okay. So that's the patch notes 0.2.0f for you, my dudes. This is Mounts of Fairy Tales, deep diving into the world of Path of Exile 2. These were the patch notes. Thank you ever so much for watching. I mean, you can check out my earlier streams over at my YouTube channel. You can head over there, give me a like, a subscribe, and some comments. You can also, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can head over to my Twitch and come hang out live. Okay, so, I mean, come hang out. Let's play some games. All right, thank you for watching.